Hi, it's Vince here again for another Grow Joe. Today I want to talk to you about this wonderful plant. This is a fig. Now we're here in England, in the Midlands, in Northamptonshire. So it's most likely one called brown turkey, which seems to be the favourite, or the old favourite. Apparently there's a newer variety which is slightly better. These are now, possibly because we've had such a mild winter, global warming, and the fact he sits here between the polytunnels at the school, has set figs. Now usually figs do set figs all in the same year, so they grow as a tiny fig. And if I will show you a small fig somewhere, a nice branch somewhere, let's have a look. Oh, there's a nice branch. Usually you'll see the baby figs in the axils. Can't see any on this one just yet. I really ought to have looked at this first. I just want to turn around every time I put the iPad down and I can see them. Now what usually happens is these tiny little figs grow from nothing into a fig and ripen at the end of the year. That is very hit and miss, and sometimes they never quite ripen if the year's not good enough. However, if you go down further south across Europe, the figs will grow small one year, over winter, and ripen into big figs by about August time that year, which is perfect. These stayed on all over winter and are beginning to blow out and ripen up. Now figs, if you're looking at it as point of view, this is actually just a flower, because what happens is we have a little wasp, and this little wasp crawls inside the fig when it's tiny, and the flowers are all on the inside facing inwards around a little hole in the middle of this fig fruit, and these flowers get fertilized by this little wasp who crawls in there to lay its eggs. Now if you've ever had any figs from abroad, not ones you buy in the supermarket, ones you buy say if you're on holiday somewhere, soak them in wine or sherry or something overnight, and you'll never eat them again, because it will be full of little maggots floating on top. And these are perfectly natural. This is the wasps, grubs, doing what they do, living inside the fig. So really not quite so nice. We are lucky at the minute in Britain, it's too cold for the wasp. All our figs that are produced without seed. They're completely seedless. Makes them some of the more expensive figs in the world, because it's hard to keep the wasp away from figs if you live anywhere else. But this is what we have here. This little plant, I think it's been here a few years now. They get quite large. I said you shouldn't plant them in the open ground, but this one's just not looked back since it's been in the open ground, and it seems to fruit quite well. And so far we look like we're going to have a bumper year on figs. They don't need much more warm weather than we naturally have in the Midlands. It's we're right on the edge here, so if you can give it a bit of protection, stick it in a nice sunny corner in the garden, you too can have figs that will overwinter and grow into fully sweet figs the following year. To do them all in one season is a bit hit and miss in this country. So, but they're easy to grow. They take cuttings well, and they also, if you've got somebody who's got one already, look around the base, because every time one of these branches gets heavy and touches the soil, it sends up its own roots. So you can always trim back one of these layered shoots and grow your own fig. They're not grafted. Well, not grafted, the ones I've seen. You prune them back well. They say you should restrict the roots. I find if you do, you tend to end up with a really stunted dwarfed plant. It doesn't seem to fruit that much better, but I think possibly in the older days, 100 years ago, when most of these gardening theories were brought out in Britain, then perhaps it was a lot colder in the winters then. Certainly seemed it when I was a kid. And so now we're in this warm spell of global warming, we can risk things like figs outside. And the other thing we can risk outside is next to it. It's a bit of a jungle at the minute. We've got to tidy all this up now. Lockdown's coming towards an end, and this is a grapevine. They're well worth growing if you like making wine. If you want dessert grapes, well, you get about 40 pounds of grapes in about a week, which means that's more grapes than most people can eat, and you have to work quite hard to get them because the birds also like grapes. Anyway, Vince here, the second Grojo after my IT problems, and I hope you enjoy it. So it's goodbye from me, and stay safe and keep growing.